Effective comprehension and tackling RC questions. Looking for signpost words and phrases will help make comprehension easier. But then, what are signposts? Consider a person driving a car. He slows down when he is not clear about which route to use and takes the help of signposts in determining which direction to travel. Passages also have got signposts in the form of words and phrases, which tells us how each group of ideas follow from the ones before and whether a statement is an additional point, that is positive signpost, or a point in contrast to what has been said, negative signpost, or a conclusion signpost. In order to better understand positive signposts, let us first read the following example. The good of man is the active exercise of his soul's faculties in conformity with excellence or virtue. Moreover, this activity must occupy a complete lifetime, for one swallow does not make spring, nor does one fine day. And similarly, one day or a brief period of happiness does not make a man supremely blessed and happy. Look closely at the usage of words moreover and similarly. They help bring out an additional point in support of the argument presented in their respective preceding sentences. Likewise, in the same way, also, furthermore, are a few more examples of signposts of this kind. Negative or contrasting signposts provide a shift in the argument and present a different idea from what was provided before the signpost. Let us read the following example. If the children and youth of a nation are afforded opportunity to develop their capacities to the fullest, if they are given the knowledge to understand the world and the wisdom to change it, then the prospects for the future are bright. In contrast, a society which neglects its children, however well it may function in other respects, risks eventual disorganization and demise. Did you notice that the statement beginning with "in contrast" is contradicting the point presented in its preceding statement? This is an example of negative signposts. Signposts like however, rather, in contrast, conversely, on one hand, on the other hand, in comparison, compared to, are examples of negative or contrasting signposts. Conclusion signposts, as the name suggests, help us to identify the conclusion of a particular argument presented in the passage. Therefore, hence, subsequently, as a result, finally, etc., are a few examples of conclusion signposts. Now that you know how handy these signposts can be in understanding the passage, be sure to look out for them when you read the passage. Speed breakers. In a passage, a word or a phrase that a candidate fails to understand is referred to as a speed breaker. What do you do when you're driving a car and you find a speed breaker on the road? Ideally, you will slow the vehicle down, at times even stop, and slowly get past the speed breaker. At this point, do you get out of the vehicle and analyze the speed breaker for a considerable period of time? If we start doing that for every speed breaker on the road, we'll never be done with our journey. In the same way, when you come across a speed breaker while reading the passage, you will automatically slow down. But do not stop and break your head trying to figure out the meaning of the word. We only have to understand the context of the passage, and based on this, the meaning of the word can be guessed. Consider the following statement. My 10th grade class teacher is the perfect example of a martinet. He is the strictest teacher I have ever had in my life. Not every student will be familiar with the word martinet. Let us assume that martinet is the speed breaker here. Now, if we read both the sentences, it can be seen that the teacher is being termed as a martinet and later on being described as strict. From this, we know that martinet can be related to being strict. Itemize. Itemization of a passage is all about segregating the passage into introduction, body, and conclusion. The body itself can be segregated into various headings like examples, illustrations, explanations, supportive or counter arguments, and so on. If you're worried about long passages, itemization helps you to look for answers to the questions in the right areas. This way, you will save time spent in reading all through the passage for each question.